Hi, guys. It's John. Allison and I are just a few days postpartum, and we are in the thick of caring for this wonderful newborn that we have here. And amid all of it, the joys, the anxiety, the sleep deprivation, I keep thinking how grateful I am for all the tools that I have developed in years of therapy. I think without it, this experience would be way harder than it has to be. And that's why I want to talk to you about Rula. Rula is a healthcare company that helps find a therapist that's right for you. I can't tell you how much a difference it makes to connect with your therapist and feel like you have a special relationship with them. And that is what Rula is here to do. So go to rula.com/starter to get started today. That's RULA.com/starter for quality therapy that's covered by insurance. Thousands of people are already using Rula to get affordable, high-quality therapy that's actually covered by insurance. Visit rula.com/starter to get started. After you sign up, you'll be asked how you heard about them. Please support our show and let them know we sent you. That's RULA.com/starter. You deserve mental health care that works with you, not against your budget.
Welcome back to Starter Marriage, a show where we examine modern marriage from every angle, including our own relationship. I'm Allison Raskin. I'm a New York Times bestselling author, relationship coach, and mental health advocate, and I convinced my husband to do this show with me.
And I'm John Blakesley, Allison's husband, a writer, a policy researcher who is stretched very thin right now.
And who's currently sucking on a lifesaver.
I know, yeah.
You gotta finish those before we start recording.
I know. Do people know how good lifesavers are?
I think so.
I gotta get the word out. These things are delicious. Why would you need any other candy? I'm just gonna do it the whole time.
No, yeah, people will turn this off. Quickly finish it.
Okay.
So you're what was the term you said? Stretch thin?
I'm stretched thin, baby.
Tell me more.
Well, I got a ton of work to do.
Yeah.
At school. A lot of calculus.
Lot of
calculus. Even things that are not the calculus class are calculus. So right now in my life, everything is calculus. You're calculus.
Wasn't that like a pop song where it's like...
Everything is calculus?
Yeah, everything is calculus. You plus me equals us.
I wish it was that easy. But so yeah, doing that, and then obviously got the Substack and got this, and getting ready for the baby, and things are there's a lot of things are going on.
What can I do to help with the stress?
You've been helping. You've been great. I'll let you know if you can do anything to help me out. But right now it's just I got to get through it.
Yeah, and that you will get through it. It won't be this intense all the time. It'll just get more intense when the baby comes.
Yeah, exactly.
Just kidding. No, because we've talked about that. You probably have to not take on as much at school.
Right. Well, the thing is, at my school, I also work, and so it's like work, school,
Substack,
podcasts, house stuff.
Yeah,
dogs.
Because you got to go through the kitchen.
Right. I know. You remind me of it every day. gotta clean out the drawers, but I
don't do it every day. I
pretty
just
frequently.
Did it yesterday.
I know. And this morning.
Because I went through the rest of the house.
I understand.
Yeah.
Yes. I will get to it.
Okay. Well, that's not me helping.
Okay. Yeah.
That's me making it worse. So maybe the way I can help is I could stop bringing up the kitchen.
Maybe you could stop doing that. Yeah. That'd be great.
Well, we have a people-pleasing episode for everyone today. We're going to be talking all about codependency.
Ooh.
And what it actually means, and if we are codependent. What's your guess? Because you have no idea what the term means.
No, I know. I kind of know what it means. I think so. It means like you are so like almost like anxiously dependent on another person, right?
Well, we'll dive into it more later.
All right. Well, I think we're not codependent, but maybe we are in certain ways. I don't know. I'm sure you're going to tell me so.
Well, before that big reveal, we have to do everyone's favorite segment of the show, Marriage Moment ATM. Ah, ba, 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 ba.
Awesome. Love that one. Really
you.
good. Yeah.
I feel like it's a blatant ripoff of a song that exists.
Yeah, absolutely. But honestly, good artists make and great artists steal.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I can't recall if we've shared this moment on the show before. So stop me if we have, and then I'm screwed. But a few years ago, we went to a friend's 4th of July party. And our friend had a bunch of burgers and had no idea how to cook the burgers.
Yeah.
And John very graciously and generously stepped in and took over all of the barbecuing at this party.
Right.
But you weren't even able to be a part of the party because the barbecue was on a different level.
Yes.
Than where everyone else was.
The party was on the roof and the grill was on like a deck on the second level or something.
Right.
And so I was just like the back
You were put
chef.
to work.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there was just something like really beautiful about like, oh, where's your husband? He's just cooking the food for this entire party in social isolation. And the fact that you were willing to do that and that you did such a good job of it. I mean, it goes to show not only are you talented, but you're really easygoing and accommodating and helpful.
Yeah, well, my buddy who threw the party asked me if I could help with the grilling. I didn't know that meant I was going to do all the grilling. And also, like, he didn't defrost anything. Like, you have to defrost the burgers and stuff. Like, so it was, it was a lot. But you know what? He came down. Some other people came down. They wound up drinking beers around me. So it didn't feel like I was just the
I came
the
and visited.
Yeah, you were there for a minute or two.
But it was just, it was one of those, like, he's a good man moments.
Aw.
Yeah.
All right.
You got nothing.
I know. Look, I will say we got to start doing some crazier stuff. You got to just start like popping out of corners with knives, and then we'll have a big laugh, and then we'll kiss, and I'll be like, oh, remember that scary but romantic moment where we need to start making some more marriage moments.
I don't think I should jump out at you with a knife. All right, I'm not that coordinated.
I'm just saying it would make for a good marriage moment, and then the knife fell out of your hands, and I had to, go to the hospital. That could be good. Do you remember a time where we looked at Sugar's belly and we thought that there was a tick and you were convinced it was a tick, and then I became convinced it was a tick, and then we tried to get the tick out of her belly.
Yeah.
And you tried to dig into her belly, and we brought her to the vet, and the vet squeezed her in because we were so freaking out together that it was a tick. And what was it, Allison?
It was her nipple.
Yeah. That's correct.
Did we take her to the vet for it? I know we sent photos and stuff, but and then maybe you were at the vet.
I got sent to the vet.
You got sent to the vet.
Which is on the other side of the city because we go to a vet like 40 minutes from us for boring reasons. But
did they laugh at you?
No, the vet was so nice.
Really?
It's just like, yeah, it's her nipple. See how she's like, see how she's got one here? It's symmetrical. And I was like, so we were just digging at my beloved dog's nipple.
And I've had her for so many years.
You had her for so long.
You were, it was looking weird.
It was looking weird. And I will admit that when Sugar is like injured or potentially sick, I overreact.
Yes.
In a way where I'm a little calmer and cooler about Phantom.
Right, because you don't really love Phantom.
No, I do love Phantom, but she's like my little girl.
You panic about Sugar
stuff. Sugar. So I panicked, and we both panicked together, and Sugar was a darling for it. But at
least we didn't take her to the emergency vet.
No, but didn't we take her to the emergency vet for something, and it was like absolutely nothing? We spent a lot of money one time.
Probably.
I don't think it was that, but it was something else. It was like where it was like absolutely nothing.
Ugh. Yeah, all of our money goes to these dogs.
Yeah. But anyway, it was a funny thing of us both panicking over absolutely nothing and looking like idiots together, so we could laugh about it.
Right. And I think we didn't get mad that it was the nipple. We were like, that's so funny.
Yes.
$200 later.
Yeah.
Well, this week's listener submitted marriage moment is actually about the listener's parents. So this is our first time which someone has submitted a marriage moment on the behalf of another couple, which I just want to say, really nice idea.
Yeah,
right? If
totally
you're listening,
fine.
you're not married, and you're like, but I have this great marriage moment from another couple.
Send it on in.
Send it in. Make one up.
Yeah, we won't know. We don't check or anything. We don't make any calls or nothing like that.
Okay, so the listener writes, this week's marriage moment was sparked by me watching my parents. My parents are pretty mismatched. My mom could not be more type A. I don't think my dad knows what brand of laundry detergent we buy. In an ADHD way, not a my husband doesn't know or care about the house kind of way. Long story short, throughout my life, I've often wondered what drew them together. On paper, they have almost nothing in common, but they both clearly have so much love for each other. They met in their 30s at a work party and got engaged after knowing each other for 9 months. They've been through a lot in their over 30 years of marriage. Our house falling down, multiple miscarriages, several big familial losses. Recently, a couple they were friends with got divorced. My mother said to my dad that she had thought they were the perfect couple and had no idea about the infidelity and financial abuse that was occurring. My dad, who was childhood friends with the husband, was even more angry that he hadn't known and couldn't step in to help the wife. My mother remarked that the only way she considered getting divorced from him was if he cheated on her, and my dad agreed. Then she asked if there was anything else that she could do that would make him divorce her. He took a beat and said, "What else could happen?" My mom looked shocked and then burst out laughing. Truly, there is little else. Again, their newly built house fell down a year after building it. They had 3 awful miscarriages before having me and lost siblings and parents while married. My dad's point was, in essence, that the for better or worse portion of their vows had held up the entire time. There was nothing that could happen that he didn't have total faith that they could overcome. Seeing my mom feel secure in that response and knowing how solid my dad is in his love for her made me start to understand their deep love and commitment to each other. Even when, directly after this conversation, as he was sorting our laundry, he kept asking us whose bras were whose. Dear reader, I'm a 40D and my mom is a modest 36B. Also, in theory, he's seen one of our bras and not the other for, 30 years.
Amazing.
I think that's like such a great approach of what else?
Yeah. Well, clearly they have not played Stay or Leave.
Oh, right.
Because you come up with all kinds of what else's every week.
Yeah, but you almost always stay.
I wonder what the percentages are.
Yeah, we should hire an intern to figure that out.
Yeah. If you'd like to apply for a starter marriage internship, email us at startermarriagepodcast@gmail.com.
And that's also where you can submit your own marriage moment, a fake marriage moment, or someone else's marriage moment. Mm-hmm. No, we shouldn't start propaganda that they're fake. We want them to be real. But look, if at a certain point we run out.
We have a lot.
Well, we do. Yeah. We have a lot. Thank you for submitting them. I also think it's very funny when kids don't understand why their parents are together.
Yeah.
Even if it's a happy marriage.
Yeah. I don't understand why my parents are together.
And that could be a whole topic for another show. Welcome back to Starter Marriage. It's time to pop the question. This is the part of the show where we dive deep into the main topic of the episode. And this week, we're talking codependency.
All right, let's talk about it. What is it?
Right. Okay, so I've included some definitions because I feel like it's become one of those terms that people throw around a lot.
Right.
They think that if they rely on their partner or do a lot of stuff with their partner, then they're codependent.
Right.
But according to Psychology Today, codependency is a dysfunctional relationship dynamic where one person assumes the role of the giver, sacrificing their own needs and well-being for the sake of the other, the taker. The bond in question doesn't have to be romantic. It can occur just as easily between child and parent, friends, and family members. And Mental Health America says, codependents have low self-esteem and look for anything outside of themselves to feel better. And so some signs of codependency is an exaggerated sense of responsibility for the actions of others, a tendency to do more than their share all the time, lack of trust in self and or others, fear of being abandoned and alone. So I think that it is a much deeper issue than I think the way a lot of people use the term. And so one of the things that like makes that tricky is because some people misinterpret the term codependency. They think that relying on their partner in any way is bad.
Right.
Or that like if you're too connected or too interdependent, then like you're tipping into codependency. When in reality, like it is a really intense dynamic where, you know, both individuals can struggle with so low self-worth, have difficulty setting boundaries, and it involves control and manipulation. So like I want to just start off by saying like relying on your partner is not a problem.
Yeah.
Spending a lot of a time with your partner is not codependency.
Right.
But I think that where we start to like go into a gray zone is when your partner's feelings really impact you. Like where you can't separate your feelings from your partner's feelings.
Yeah.
And that I think we see in couples more so than like full blown codependency, but I would call it like codependency light. And so I'm curious, like, do you feel like that we have that?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. Like,
I don't think so either.
I don't think so. Yeah. I mean,
but I think it's interesting because I think it's something you kind of had to grow out of.
Yeah, definitely.
Share more.
Yeah, a previous relationship, we were totally codependent. I'm curious, can both partners be codependent with each other, or is it one person is always the giver and the other person is always the receiver? Like how does that work?
Well, according to positivepsychology.com,
yeah, I love that place.
Some practitioners describe it as a relationship in which both individuals struggle with this stuff.
I see.
But I think the more traditional form is there's a giver and a taker.
In a previous relationship, we were definitely, I think, codependent, and her...
Even to the extreme level of the proper definition?
I don't know. You mean going both ways, or the proper definition of the original? Yeah, I think so. I mean, her moods definitely, I took them on for sure. And like her feelings were like, had to be attended to. And, you know, like I've said on this show before, like just so, it always just felt like we were kind of, things would be great for months, and then all of a sudden it'd be like some big thing that like would end the relationship. And then so I was like always kind of like on guard for that. And
did you feel like you did most of the attending to her feelings?
I do. I mean, be kind of curious to like, I think she at the end felt it was the opposite, but I don't also really know, because I think she like projected a lot and like admitted that she projected a lot onto me. And so like she would say like, you know, you are going through a depression and it's hard to be around you, and I'm servicing your feelings. But then it was like I was servicing all of her doubts in our relationship. So I don't know. It's like hard to say. And that's why I also ask about like if it could go both ways. But yeah, I mean, I but also in good times too, because I think you can think about it in like that way where it's like the anxiousness, but also like we had like a whirlwind beginning to our relationship where it was like very intense and like romantic in a way. And it was too much, I think. She just wanted a level of physical intimacy that was like really exciting at the beginning and fun and wild. And I look back now and I'm like, it almost felt like, I don't know, like pathological, like always had to be touching me. Like, and I like that, but like, and I became kind of addicted to it, but also it was like, it didn't feel like we just wanted to do this. Felt like you had to do this, you know? And then like with sex, like it was just like a lot, you know, it's just like a lot. And to the point where I look back now, I can't believe like the expectations around it were like really, really high. And so it was like both fun and also stressful.
Well, she would also like put pressure on you that it wasn't enough, right? And that you were like failing her in that department.
Absolutely. That I was like I didn't want to have sex as much as she did. And I mean, I can't believe I'm saying this on a microphone, but it was like 3 times a day for months.
That's crazy. How'd you get anything done?
Right. And so when we were like backing off, deeper in our relationship to like, I don't know, like a couple times a week, few times a week, she was like, we just, like, why don't you, I remember she said to me once, like, why don't you want to have sex with me?
What role do you feel like self-esteem played in this dynamic? Because it seems to be that like low self-esteem is like one of the main factors that can lead to these codependent behaviors. Yeah,
I think that it's really tricky for me because so I suspect that she must have had some low self-esteem in that she was being validated by this and needed that validation. But also I suspect that when she said to me, like, why don't you want to have sex with me every day, multiple times a day? Like, it was basically like, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with me? She was asking too. And I immediately went to, I'm a piece of garbage and I am not a real man because I don't want to like have sex with this beautiful woman, like who's like telling me that she wants to, and like, what's wrong with me? And I didn't have the self-esteem to say like, I'm tired, like I'm dehydrated, or like, or just like, our relationship changes and let's just be, but it felt like, oh, if we don't do this, then I'm going to lose the good stuff. But the other thing about it that's really interesting to me is that like that suggests like a lack of self-esteem on my part, that I couldn't just be like, well, this is like a huge ask that you're asking and like we need to like figure this out in a different way. And so I didn't feel like strong enough or even strong enough to be like, maybe I don't want to be with this person because I never even once thought that, because I was like, oh, she's pretty and she's smart and she's this and she's that. And like, like I should want to be with this person. And I think it makes sense that we were, but by the same token, all of that physical intimacy also made me feel like the man. You know what I mean? Like it was also like this like beautiful person wants you. And so I felt like really, in a way, I've never felt so attractive because this person was constantly reminding me how attracted she was to me. And so like it was this weird like yin and yang of like at the same time feeling really bad about myself on some subconscious level and not having self-esteem, but also thinking I was like the hottest guy in the world. You know what I mean? Like delusionally self-confident. And I actually feel like this is more of a psychological thing. I feel like those things are related. Like arrogance and self-deprecation are like kind of two sides of the same coin sometimes. Like,
well, I think they say like narcissists are often deeply insecure.
Right.
Something I noticed like in our relationship was that you, because I think of how much you had accommodated to her, that you were like exploring standing up in a relationship with me.
Yeah.
And there were times where I was like, oh God, she really fucked me here. I wish he would just do what I wanted. But you were like finding your footing of like pushing back. Right. And so from like the beginning of our relationship, there's always been pushback. Whereas like when you talk about your relationship with her, it was like you would give in to her about everything.
Yes and no. Like it is interesting. Like when we broke up, one of her friends who had become my friend said to me, like, I always thought you guys were going to finally make it, because she had been like kind of a serial monogamous. And you were going to be the final one because you were the only one who ever told her no.
Oh.
And so I guess I did, but my memory of it is just always giving in, and especially near the end, I think I was giving in a lot. And so, but maybe I just did it more than other people did it, like it was still like a lot, that was being demanded all the time. And so you needed to like accommodate it. And of course, this all goes back probably to my relationship with my mother and et cetera, et cetera. Subscribe to Wrong Man for the Job at substack.com if you want to sort of dive into this multi-generational psychological stuff that I'm dealing with.
But you're breaking the cycle, right? Because
I'm trying to.
You're not dependent on my emotions.
No, I don't think so.
Like, I feel, and I'm, like, I have my methods for how not to be dependent on your emotions, which I can reveal in a moment, but, like, what are your tactics that you don't get sucked into, like, where I'm at?
I am much better just saying she'll get over it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's just going to spin out about, like, whatever. And sometimes you're spinning out about things that I just think are just, like, irrational. And so I'm just like, she'll be fine. And you are. You've never really held anything against me for like multiple days. Like our worst fight was like over one evening. So like, yeah.
Like it's not that pressure of like the stakes are so high if I'm in a bad mood.
I never felt like you were going to leave me over this or something. Yeah.
I think for me, I'm just like very accepting that people have bad moods.
Yeah.
So like if you're in a bad mood or if you're stressed out or like you're worried about something, I'm not like, there's not like a 5-alarm fire in my head. I'm like, that's part of life.
Right.
And like recognizing that me going there with you doesn't solve anything.
Right.
And it also kind of like robs me of my own internal experience because having struggled so much with my mental health over the course of my life, like the last thing I need is like to have your moods impact me.
Right.
Because I've struggled so hard to like have better control over my moods.
Right.
So I don't want to like give you that power. And I also feel like I don't need to because when your partner's dysregulated, you becoming dysregulated doesn't really help the situation.
Right.
In fact, like I think that we do kind of a good job of like when one person is stressed or having a bad day, that the other person tends to like keep it together.
Yeah.
And so we're not like, and that ends up helping like the person like move past it faster.
Right. Right. I mean, I think probably the closest it comes with you and me is like when I'm accommodating certain OCD things that I don't want to accommodate. Like I've just like started taking my seat on the airplane instead of like, if like it's like kind of stressful to like wipe things down. I just like don't do that anymore because you're going to make me, wash everything anyway when I get home. So I just like don't really see the point. And so, and you've just sort of, I appreciate that you've sort of like been like, all right, he can't do that. Like you haven't given me a hard time about it. And so I think that's, I think if my ex had OCD, I would have, yeah. Sorry, honey, but like, yeah, I might have done it, or I would have, like, it would have been a huge fight. She wouldn't have probably let me get away with that kind of thing.
Right.
So, but also that, it would have been a nightmare.
Do you feel like we contribute like equally in our relationship, or is there like a giver and a taker?
Well, we talked about this on how we like divide household chores. I often feel like I'm a giver, like I'm taking care of you, but then as you have noted and like are correct, like my laundry just appears done and folded. And so like you are doing things, but you're doing a lot more stuff behind the scenes.
Right.
I'm doing stuff that's a little more in your face sometimes. And so,
well, what you're doing is you're often responding to a direct ask.
Yeah.
Whereas I do like a lot of like kind of proactive giving. So it's like a little less obvious.
Yeah.
Like I like bring your pills when we go out to breakfast.
Right. Right.
And like I'll, like I don't know, like things like I like replace your loofah or I like do stuff.
Yeah, a lot of the home-based stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know.
I mean, I think it's unrealistic that it's ever going to be 50-50. Like I think we go back and forth with like who's carrying more, but I don't think that it's ever like that uneven for that long amount of time without there being like a clear reason, right? Like that I'm recovering from knee surgery, that you're recovering from an appendectomy, like
right.
Where there's like some clear deficit that has to be addressed.
Yeah. Let me push back on though the idea that your stuff is proactive and mine isn't. Like a lot of times it's like one of the dogs has to go to the vet and it's just assumed that I will take him or her.
Well, that was more
you know.
just when you were on break from school.
Yeah.
Like you just had the schedule.
Yeah, but you don't even have to ask. Like it's just assumed I'm doing it. Or like when you have been like more tired with pregnancy lately, like I've gotten up and taken the dogs out and like done things that are like traditionally yours, and like you don't even have to say anything. I just do it. And so I just want a little cred that like I do.
Definitely.
Yeah, that I do stuff. Sometimes if you're sleeping in, I'll just like go get you like a croissant or something like that for breakfast. And so,
When have you done that?
I did that. I did it like a month or two ago. and you got up and you were like so surprised, and it was like a little treat for you.
Oh wow, I don't remember this, but it sounds really nice.
Yeah, I was a great guy back then. What parts of our dynamic do you think could be unhealthy?
I think that like we have to be like pretty cautious around the fact that we now work together.
Yeah.
Like just like that we don't like put pressure on ourselves that like if this podcast doesn't do well that there's like any resentment towards each other, but I don't think we've been doing
I don't think so.
Anyway, it's more that we just like you are just like an eternal optimist about stuff, and I'm more of like a realist / pessimist.
Oh my God!
But I can argue why I'm.
Hello, Ruth. That's what she used to say. But yes, I do tend to think you always see the negative in things, and I always see the positive in things, and that can be frustrating for sure.
And I also think that like sometimes that like can be an unhelpful dynamic, because that's often like the moments when I feel like the most lonely in our relationship.
Same. Because I'll feel like sometimes like if say an episode doesn't do well and I poured my heart out in it, and you'll be like, well, it only got XYZ viewership and wasn't worth it. And I'll feel like, wow, I've like bared my soul. We did something kind of artistically interesting, and it's just written off as like, oh, we didn't get numbers.
I don't view it as that it wasn't worth it. I view it as more like this is just such a frustrating, difficult like career and medium to be in, and that it like it feels so difficult to like not know what's gonna work, what's not gonna work, to have to navigate like different success week to week. And now I think you having the Substack is bringing out some behaviors that like you're very plugged into the followership, and like
now, which I've never
right.
I've
like
never
you're
cared
like
about.
I'm like I lost a subscriber, and I have to be like that's okay. That's part of the game.
Well, I'm adjusting to this whole
you're adjusting
world
to it.
where you have to be kind of even keeled. But it's hard when you're being so vulnerable.
Right.
Like, because it's one thing if you're just like talking about sports or even like politics, where it's like you're analyzing something else. But when you're like sharing these like extremely intimate things, and then someone unsubscribes, it's like you have to like adjust to it. It took adjusting to getting used to like people commenting on this show, because sometimes one of us will say something and we'll get kind of in trouble by some people. And in the beginning, I used to be like really caught up in that because I was like used to that. And also hopefully like we're modeling having messy conversations, and sometimes you're not always going to say the thing that you totally mean, or you were misunderstood and you want to like clarify what you meant. But you can't because you look like a nut job, like if I was like going in there in the comment section. But now I'm like a little more, at this point, I'm like a little more even keeled about the whole thing. What'll be weird is like, we'll be like, if we do ever have like a disagreement on this show, and then like we're like on the couch hanging out, like, that's like way in the past, whatever we had our little spat about on the show. And now suddenly people are engaging with that is kind of an interesting dynamic. Like
it makes us like revisit it.
It makes you revisit it in this way. And sometimes there's like this sense of like, oh, they agreed with me. Like it feels kind of good, to be like, oh yeah, she was totally wrong about that. Yeah. And everyone agreed. Or I'm sure you have the same thing. But also then I also feel defensive because I'm like, back off. That's, Allison. And then I'm like, why am I reading this still? Like, it's a really, we have this like other third in our life, which is like, I suppose we always had it, but now that I'm like behind a microphone and like typing like stories on Substack, like like this audience is also like a part of our marriage in an interesting way. And sometimes it's cool and helpful, and other times like it like can be a wedge between us, I think.
Yeah. But I feel like, you know, we like that's just like a thing we have to be really mindful of.
Yeah.
And like trying not to be like, see, they agree with me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Even though sometimes you want to do that.
Of course, obviously.
Especially because this last week everyone was really agreeing with me, and that was a real rush.
Right.
After I've had a few hits,
Yeah.
a few losses.
Yeah. Hi guys, it's John. Allison and I are just a few days postpartum, and we are in the thick of caring for this wonderful newborn that we have here. And amid all of it, the joys, the anxiety, the sleep deprivation, I keep thinking how grateful I am for all the tools that I have developed in years of therapy. I think without it, this experience would be way harder than it has to be. And that's why I want to talk to you about Rula. Rula is a healthcare company that helps find a therapist that's right for you. I can't tell you how much a difference it makes to connect with your therapist and feel like you have a special relationship with them. And that is what Rula is here to do. So go to rula.com/starter to get started today. That's RULA.com/starter for quality therapy that's covered by insurance. Thousands of people are already using Rula to get affordable, high-quality therapy that's actually covered by insurance. Visit rula.com/starter to get started. After you sign up, you'll be asked how you heard about them. Please support our show and let them know we sent you. That's RULA.com/starter. You deserve mental health care that works with you, not against your budget.
You know, the thing I think that was actually the most unhealthy in our relationship was that I was the sole breadwinner. Like, I think that like logistically was fine, but I think that it created a lot of like discomfort for you.
Yeah.
And I also think that there is something inherently dangerous around that, especially before like partners have children.
Yeah.
Where like, you know, when someone takes himself out of the workforce to care for a child, that's different than when there's no child and only one person is making money.
Right.
And I think that like that always made me really nervous because it was like, one, like, you know, could you, if you wanted to leave me, could you?
No.
Right. And like, if I wanted to leave, like the impact it would have on you would be like too much.
Right.
And so that's freaked me out, even though like neither of us ever wanted to leave during that period. Just like it's just a naturally unhealthy position for both of us to be in. And
I think that, you know, I can talk about this now because I've been talking about it publicly, but when we talked about like the money episode, a huge part of it was also like, I can't go back to my parents. Mm-hmm. I don't have like a safety net where like, if you kicked me out, like there's times in my life where I've been like, if Allison kicked me out of the house, where would I actually sleep? Mm-hmm. You know? And where would I get a couch? And, you know, and so a scary thing, especially when we first started this show and we've let audiences into our lives, is like when people like say do turn on you, it activates that a little bit. I don't mean to sound like a baby. I'm not, you know, like I've gotten much better about this, but like it definitely is like, oh no, like if I'm, you know, if she left me over this issue or something like that, I'm screwed. You know, if I got canceled out of my marriage here. Very specific type of canceling. What do you call it? Like, you know, like I don't have anywhere to go, you know? And that's why I'm worried about the bridge, about living underneath that bridge.
But I guess you would get half though, right? In California.
Yeah, I guess so.
So it was actually kind of more scary before we were married.
Right. But that would also be after a divorce. And, you know, that would be like down the line, you know what I mean? Like in the immediate term, like where would I... You know, it was just scary to me, you know what I mean? Right. And like, I don't think that's like happening anytime soon or whatever. But yeah, it was totally totally scary. And now I have like more things going on now that like, you know, it's different. But yeah, no, I definitely feel like I was dependent on you.
Yes.
In a way that felt dangerous to me.
Yeah, and it felt dangerous to me too.
Yeah.
Because it felt like we were heading into that place of like neither of us could leave.
Yeah.
If we wanted to.
Yeah.
Not that there was any reason to, but like it just is different than it feeling like a choice.
Yeah, it didn't feel like I had the choice to leave.
Right.
I never wanted to take that choice, but yeah, it was not a choice available to me. And I suspect a lot of people like that are out there, like where they're in a marriage, whether they like it or not, where they're like, well, I couldn't leave.
Actually, in a lot of ways, though, the marriage part is what protects you, right? Because before we were married, I could just have kicked you out and I wouldn't owe you anything.
Right.
Like now you would be entitled to half my assets.
Right. But also before we were married, like I still had a show in development and was like making money. I feel like since the marriage, things have really, really tanked for me. But
it is funny. I guess I never thought about the fact that like, I would have to give you money. Which is like so funny because I talk about this stuff all the time. Like, like all of our savings would go.
Yeah.
And I wonder if I would probably owe you. I don't know if like I would owe you alimony or not. Simply because
you do.
I think. Because in my head I was like, oh, alimony is like once you have kids or whatever. But like maybe I would owe you alimony.
Maybe.
Because,
I don't know.
Yeah, I probably would. Because like that was like the lifestyle that you were accustomed to. And
I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's.
I can't afford that, so please don't leave.
No, I don't have any intention, but yeah, I mean, that's part of the risk when you like get behind a microphone or whatever, and like we're having these like very vulnerable conversations in public. That like not like any, it's just like it just brings up all the time, this like how you're at risk. Because you're talking about things that are vulnerable, which is like, that's what it means to be vulnerable. It means to be like, I'm risking something,
showing the sides of yourself that aren't perfect.
Exactly. And like, whenever I publish something, like I like the artist in me is always like, good art risks something. Good art is like bleeding on the page. And so like, whatever's like fear I have around publishing, I'm usually like, no, this should be in a piece of mine because it's interesting and artistic and like it has artistic merit and it risks something and that means it's good. And I can stand behind that. But like, I'm a little scaredy cat when like I click publish, and that it's like, you're going to be rejected or you're going to be like judged or something like that. And so, I think that's what it means to be an artist, I suppose.
A good artist.
Yeah. The privilege of getting to be a writer who people read, which is, it's a privilege. And so I'm not complaining.
I think something that like I struggle with lately is like when if you say something that bumps for me.
Yeah.
Like when do I bother to bring it up versus not bother to bring it up? Because sometimes it's like I know that we're not going to agree about everything.
Yeah.
I know that like you have opinions I don't agree with. I have opinions you don't agree with. And like, or like you'll say something and like it will rub me the wrong way. And it's like, but like how much is bringing it up like worth it? Or is it something that like I can tell like maybe you just like reacted to emotionally and like maybe there's like not as much like real truth behind it, or like I can like allow you to think that without having to like fight from without having to fight to make you see it from my point of view. Like one of the things that stands out is like when you were on summer break, I said something about being busier than you, and you were like, we're equally busy, and that felt just not true to me. Like yes, you had stuff to do and you were like doing things and like there was a lot on your plate, but like ultimately like it wasn't like I just like, because there wasn't any financial ties, like it was like a lot of things were like things you were choosing to do rather than like I have to show up for work, I have to see my clients, I have to turn my book in, I have to do these various things, and I'm pregnant, and like that like was something you said that like I just felt was just like so fundamentally like untrue. I don't think it's untrue right now. Now that you're back in school, I actually think that like you are busier than I am. But like during that period of time, the idea that like you thought that we were equally busy was like it really like hurt my feelings or just made me feel like unseen or something. And so I like grappled with like, do I even like bring this up? And ultimately I was like, I didn't because it kind of became like, why do I need that validation from you around it? Like, it was sort of like, I know this thing to be true. And like, if you don't believe that, that's like, you're entitled to your opinion. But like, it was like, I don't know, I came to like peace with it on my own of being like, he doesn't have to necessarily see my side about this thing for me to be firm in my belief around it.
This is a really interesting example because I think about this moment a lot too. We've never talked about it. Can I ask you, before I say my side of it, can I ask you why you felt like you needed me to believe that you were busier than me?
Well, it just felt like being unacknowledged for what I was contributing to the house.
Yeah. It's funny because I felt the exact same way. Because that day that you had said that, I don't remember saying equally, but maybe I did. I don't remember.
You said you were busier than me. You said maybe like equally. But like...
So that week I had... Because like I think that day especially, like I had like driven across the city for the dog. I had like done grocery shopping. I had like run another errand. You'd asked me to do like 3 or 4 other little things. Like I hadn't stopped since the morning. And yeah, it wasn't like a book is due, but it was like stuff that I was like doing for us. And you had mentioned again that I was on summer break. And I remember I felt like you weren't recognizing like the things that I needed to do, like, or that I was doing for us. Or like sometimes it would be like a meeting to prepare for the fall. And it's like, I still have to take that meeting. And so I felt like, yeah, she's got like more professional things going on right now, but like I'm doing all this stuff for like our relationship. And I feel like she doesn't recognize that, like to just picking up the slack with errands and whatnot. And so I wanted that to count as like, busy, you know?
I think another thing is like sometimes like your frame of reference is shorter. So like you'd been really busy that day, but like but it wasn't that level of busy every single day for weeks. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like absolutely you had like super busy days during summer break, but there were also periods of time where it was like not as much, or you could just work on like a short story you wanted to write, or like there was, you know, like, and so I think I think that that's a thing for us is like how you feel in that like exact moment of like that day versus like longer term stuff. And I think that's maybe what we were bumping up against.
Yeah.
Cause like I'll give you that day. Sure. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah. And I mean, look, it obviously like, that stuff is so important, and I'm so thankful and you know appreciative of you for that stuff. But you know, like you were also able to just like kind of pursue things that you wanted to pursue, versus like every moment being something you had to do. So even though, does that make sense?
Can you give me some examples?
Like that you just like wanted to write a short story.
I didn't write any short stories.
Well, you started working on a short story for adapting your pilot.
Oh yeah. I mean, I didn't write a word of that though. I didn't have any time. It was like something I thought about doing and like my agents wanted me to do, but I never had time to do it. I never even spent time doing it until we were on a plane the other day. I started like reading the things that they sent me. So I didn't even do that. So I guess
you spent like an afternoon working on it.
Maybe one afternoon in the whole summer. So, I mean, I don't know. Like, I just felt like I was like, I think my thing is like, I will like concede to you that you had like more important things to do over the summer, like, or more like economically profitable things. But I guess I just felt like bringing up all the time, like, because you brought it up like a bunch of times, like, oh, like I'm so busy and John's on break. And I always felt like I'm doing so much. Like I've like looking at my calendar, I'm like, I have all these like things that I'm doing for us and I'm doing to prepare for the fall. And I'm like things that need to get done and doing things for your father, like running little errands for your dad. I was always doing and always just like doing happily. And so I guess I just felt like less than, you know, and that like, why does it have to be a competition of like who's busier? I don't know. Like it hurt my feelings too. And so that's why I asked you like why it's like funny because like we both seem to feel like we weren't being recognized for what we were contributing and wanted to like, you know, maybe that's why you said it in the first place and then why I snapped back.
Yeah. I think, you know, also like you were doing that Python class, which was like, you know, a choice to do versus something that you had to do, which like there's value to it. But I guess like I felt like the pressure of like, I can't not do any of these things.
Yeah.
And that I think is like what the difference felt like for me. But
right.
I totally understand that like you were, you know, like truly helping a lot. And
to be clear, like that in particular, one, I didn't even get to finish it because I didn't have enough time. But two, that was because in the fall I work on some economic projects. And so it makes me more competitive for those projects if I had it. So it was me investing time in something that was going to be economically viable for me in a few months and make me get on projects. And so it wasn't just my enrichment, or it wasn't like I was taking like learning Latin or something.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it was something for my job. I just wasn't getting paid for it. And I was like, if I have a little time now and I invest it in this will pay off in a few months when I will make more money for us because I have this skill, if that makes sense. But I understand what you're saying. That's a choice that I'm making. It was just like a choice that I was making
this
so
is
that
strategic choice.
Yeah, exactly.
But you know, but then also like there's less like direct like A to B.
Yeah, absolutely.
With that choice.
It's more of an investment in something that will pay off down the road as opposed to something that needs to be done right
and
now.
And I like don't have any time to do that kind of thing, and I think that just makes me like jealous. And,
right. So that's what I want to get at, which is like, and that's totally understandable, by the way. I just like, for me, I still viewed that as like work because like I wasn't like enjoying learning like Python language. I was doing something in order to learn it so that I could make money for us. Like, you know, I would way rather be working as like a writer or like, doing something or playing tennis or whatever. But I was doing that as an investment and trying to be disciplined about it and treat it like it was a job that I showed up for. But because it was an A to C as opposed to an A to B, it gets sort of devalued. And I guess that was like frustrating for me.
But also like, it's also complicated for me because like you didn't finish it and you didn't, and like there is some debate on like how much you actually needed to do that given like how much AI is changing and that like a lot of people say you actually don't need to learn how to code anymore.
Yeah, look, that's a tricky thing. And again, I didn't finish it because I wasn't undisciplined. It was like because I had so much to do this summer. You know, it wasn't like I was like going to the beach and reading books and stuff. Like I was like just had so much to do. And so it didn't feel like a break. It felt like, oh, I'm behind because I couldn't totally finish it. And, you know, I'm still working through it. It's an online thing. Like I can do it. And how important is it? No one gives you the same answer to that. Like, but I do have to like work with like economic models and those are written in code. And so like, you know, I don't know what to tell you. Like, you know, it's hard, you know what I mean? Like, and so there's more of a fuzzy value, but I'm just saying that it didn't feel like it was like, I'm doing this for fun. Mm-hmm. And I understand you're seeing me do this stuff like, and it's like not immediately profitable or whatever.
Or it's more just, it's not even that. It's more just like that you don't, that
I don't have to do it.
You don't have, right. And so like, I think that like it felt like invalidating of like, just like the sheer amount of stuff I had to do while being pregnant. And then for you to say that we were equally busy felt hurtful.
Yeah.
But I also totally see it from your side, and like that, like you did there, you were like, you're right, you weren't just like sitting around all day, but I guess it felt like perhaps, and then maybe this is where the disconnect is, it was like the pressure to do it felt like you could get away with not doing some of it, whereas like I couldn't, right? Like there were there's been no repercussions from you not having finished the Python class.
Right.
Whereas, like, if I canceled my clients or didn't turn in my book, there's, like, financial repercussions. Or, like, if I didn't, like, you know, grow the baby.
Yeah. I guess maybe it's a problem of language. Could it be a problem of language? Like,
yeah.
Because we were both busy.
Right.
Doing things.
Right.
You were under the gun in a way. I was investing in myself in a way, you know, which hasn't been a waste, by the way. Like I do like use this stuff. It's just like I'm not as good as I would have been if I had like another month to do it.
Right.
I don't know. Like maybe there's a different way we can talk about it. Like, yeah, we're both really busy. I'm picking up the slack on errands, and I'm also doing this other stuff to help out. Like, but it'll pay off in the future. I don't know. And you are really under stress, and I don't know. Feel free to comment and tell us, tell us how should we talk about this? And
but now I think you are unbelievably busy to the point where I'm worried about it.
Yeah.
Like I think you are.
I'm working till like
you're doing too much.
I'm working at like from 7 till like 11 p.m. and you know different things. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, like, another thing is, like, just, like, being, and this is, like, funny to come back to codependency, is, like, being aware of your partner's mood, right?
Yeah.
Not to the point where you take that mood on, but that you're cognizant of, like, when to bring up what.
Right.
Like, there are certain times where, like, it doesn't make sense to bring up this thing because, like, they're in an agitated state and it's, like, going to go over poorly versus, like, when, like, oh, like, now would be a good time to, like, maybe, like, circle to this topic or have this more difficult conversation.
Right.
Or, you know, I think for a lot of couples, it can be helpful to have, like, a check-in time. So, like, we know that, like, at Sunday at 4, anything we've been thinking about, we can bring up.
Let me ask you. Yeah. Oh, that's kind of cool. I like that. If I said to you, if you brought up something and I knew that like, oh, this is going to be difficult or we're going to like argue about this. If I said to you, hey, is it okay if we don't talk about this right now and talk about something else? Would that upset you, you think? Or like, I'm not in the mood for it?
No, I think you could totally say like, hey, I don't have the emotional bandwidth or mental stamina to get into this, but can we talk about it later?
Yeah.
Right, that's different than saying, like, we're never allowed to talk about it.
Right.
No,
yeah.
I totally understand.
Yeah, because sometimes I felt that when you've brought things up and I've been like, oh, man, I'm, like, really not... I was really looking forward to us just hanging out and having a laugh and not, you know, debating something we disagree about. And but I always feel like I'm going to upset you if I say that. And so it's nice to hear you say it.
And I think that the relationship check-in thing can be really helpful because it alleviates the pressure of, like, when do I find the right time?
Right.
Like, and that no one feels like they're being bombarded with something out of nowhere. It's like you go into the check-in being like, yes, there will probably be something that is brought up and I'm emotionally prepared to deal with that and we have the time and the space to tackle it.
Yeah.
But also some weeks maybe there's really nothing to bring up other than like, where should we go on a trip?
Right. Yeah,
you know, like not, you don't want to get into like the habit of assuming that like your partner's going to drop a huge bombshell every Sunday.
That would be awful.
But I think it can be really helpful when like people feel less comfortable bringing stuff up.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Okay, it is time for the final segment of this show, everyone's favorite soon-to-be patented game show, Stay or Leave. This is where I present you with a hypothetical situation of something I might do in the future, and you decide if you would stay or leave me because marriage is a choice, not a trap. I decide that we have become too disconnected. So I demand that for 2 full weeks, we are never apart. This includes going to the bathroom and me coming with you to school.
Oh, no.
When you say this is too much, I counter that what I really want is to be handcuffed together for 2 weeks.
What?
So actually what I'm asking for is very reasonable. Would you stay or leave?
Wait, everywhere I go, we have to be handcuffed together.
Well, no, I said that's my preferred version, but I'm being incredibly reasonable and instead saying we just have to be in the same room together for 2 weeks, including the bathroom and like school and stuff and like wherever you go.
Well, do I have the choice to leave? I guess I guess in that situation, I would leave.
Yeah, really.
It's really bad.
2 weeks is too long. What about 3 days?
You're always trying to haggle. Can we come up with a cover story for people, or do we have to tell everyone the truth that we've been too disconnected?
No, we can come up with a cover story that it's research for my next book.
Oh, that's a good cover story.
Yeah, I thought about that ahead of time.
Okay, 3 days, I would stay. 2 weeks, I'd leave.
Interesting. You know what's funny is I think actually doing this, I would hate it more than you.
You would hate it, yeah.
I would have really had to
You'd have to sit through a lot of calculus.
I'd have to have some real sort of personality change to ever want to do this.
Yeah. What would you hate about it?
Like I like my space, I think, and like I like privacy in the bathroom.
Yeah.
You know, like
Do you? You're always calling me in to read trivia while you're in the shower.
Yeah. Shower's different. Shower's a communal time. Well, thank you all so much for listening. You can watch the full video version of the show on youtube.com/justbetweenus.
And why don't you check out Allison's vulnerable and beautifully written Substack, Emotional Support Lady.
And check out John's incredible Substack, Wrong Man for the Job, and decide if I should leave him based on the essays. No, I'm just kidding.
Someone's going to take that seriously, yeah.
Also, if you are able to, please like and subscribe and review the podcast on the various podcast apps. That really helps us grow the show and, potentially save the marriage.
Yeah. We're leaving if you don't do this. You're killing us. You're killing this marriage.
And as we say in our home, good night to me, the Alibaba.
Good night to you, the Alibaba.
Thank you.